Hello all, and thank you for joining me here today. Today is the day where I want to totally finish this little project that I've been working on with you for several episodes now. And today we're finally going to do the last stage and get it all completed. But before we do that, just a very quick recap what we've done so far. So first of all, we created this little page, and it actually took us 3 little episodes to do that. Creating the background, doing the stamping, and then finishing it all off. Now, this is a double page, which is going to fit in to a journal that I'm working on. And of course, you could do something similar and fit it into any journal that you are working on. Now, because the back is showing the stamping through, we have created something that will fold in, and I'll show you that in a minute, can be glued against this and then zigzags up, and you will see some background pages, and you see this front with the pockets. So then in a follow-up episode, we spent a long time creating this journal page using coloring techniques, using Tim Holt's distress pencils. And, we created a background, a bit like we did here, and so on and so on. Then in the next episode, we created this page, following a similar method as on this one, which I'd created ahead of time. I will link all of these episodes in a playlist below. So if you haven't watched them, you could catch up if you want to. Now, today what we're going to do, like I said, we're going to finish it all. And we're going to start by completing the stenciling on this thing, because we only did the first 2 sections. We're now going to do the last one. Then we'll finish the pockets, and I'll show you how we do that. Then obviously we will have to glue them down so that they become pockets, because at the moment it's just a flap. And then we will create the back 2 pages. And again, I've done some work ahead to save time. So let's get started. Now, as I've pointed out in several of my episodes, I like to stencil using a stencil brush like this, because it gives a softer effect. In fact, I'm going to use another one which has been used for darker browns, so I'll use this one even though it says blue there at the back. Actually, color contamination is not really an issue. And then obviously we're going to use a couple of stencils, and to make the whole project unified, I'll use the same 2 stencils that I used on these 2. So I'm going to clear some space, and then we'll get started on that. All right, now the first thing is to explain these stencils are from the Tim Holtz layering stencil sets. There's hundreds of them. I have many. These 2 happen to be my favorites. And I think they work well in combination with one another. But before we get on to the stenciling, we need to open this up, as I said. And I'm going to blend some gathered twigs around the outside. And then I'll show you what we do with the stencils. So off we go. And for the blending around the outside, I'm just going to use a blending tool. Circular motions around the edge. I'm sure you've seen this hundreds of times, so I'll do it quickly. I'm going inside what's going to be the pockets as well. All right, that's probably enough, so we can put this aside. And now we take the blending brush, and you know what? I've noticed I've taken out the wrong stencil. So it's this one we're going to use. I'll put this one away. All right, so starting with the lighter brown, very, very lightly, I'm going to do this beehive, whatever pattern you call it. Now I'm going to try and make it into a whole harmonious sort of total thing. So the darker bit is going to be here, and I think I'll look at it, but I think it will be up here. But I'm first going to carry this bit on. As you can see, my stencil isn't in the best of nick. So I'll move it up a bit, and we'll do that bit first, very lightly. A bit here, and a little bit here at the end. I think I might make it a little bit darker still. And I think that will probably be enough. All right, so now I'm going to take a darker color, and I'm going to use ground espresso, and I'm going to use this stencil, and I might even kind of line it up, not precisely, it doesn't matter too much, and just carry on that stencil pattern there with the ground espresso. And like I've said several times now, be careful not to create hard edges. I want to mirror this, but I don't want it symmetrical, so I'm going to put it up a bit. Oop, no ink. Again, this stencil has been well used. A bit broken actually, which is a bit of a shame. It's so delicate. Where's that? Yep, I'm quite happy with that. So I think that's enough. So now the next bit would be to glue the sides to make this into pockets. I'm using my fine liner glue, which I put in this little bottle. It's art glitter glue. So do a very fine line here. And here. And here. And here. Okay, this will obviously need a little minute to dry, and while that's drying, I'm just gonna do something which I've just noticed here. See this edge there that's happened? I don't like that. So I'm gonna see whether I can get rid of that. It's probably not gonna be easy, but it might be possible. So let's see what we can do with that. Might at least be able to improve it a little bit. And like so. Yeah, I think that's made it a bit better. All right, now this should be dry by now, because it's going to be quite busy with these decorated journal pages, journal cards. I want to keep this quite simple, and I thought to mainly just work with text. And what I've done to just add a little bit of interest, I've created one ahead of time. Yeah, I've cut 3 bits of coffee stained paper, just a bit smaller than the actual pockets, and I'm going to stick them on here, and then maybe embellish a little bit just with a word, but I'll show you that in a moment. So I'll do these 2 with you together, and I'll start with speckled egg. I'll just do them both at the same time, which can be done quite easily. It's a bit tricky to ink such dull things, so make sure you hold it. My sponge has been a bit contaminated, but yeah, I'm going to add the browns anyway, so not a big deal. And you know, you can wash these sponges out, as you probably know. So that will do fine. Now, I've labeled my thingies. You could just use the same ones, but I know some people do, but I labeled mine a while ago. So I try and stick with them. I have a whole bunch of these things anyway. Oh, you see, this is what I do. I stuck my brown in the blue. That's how they get contaminated. Stupid me. I think I'll need to spend some time washing out my sponges. I mean, it's not the main part of the project, so I'm not too fussed about it. And a little bit around it with the darker color, and that is really to give it definition so that it sticks out from the background panels. The good thing with adding this extra bit of paper is that it also makes the pockets a bit stronger, because after all we're just using actually normal printer paper, right? Which isn't the strongest, as you all know. All right, now close my inks quickly. Where the third lid is gone, here it is. All right, now the actual stamping I'm going to do is archival ink again, and I'm using ground espresso. And I've selected a cheap little text stamp, which I'm going to use. And, well, you'll see how it goes. No big deal. Do a little bit the other way around. All right. I'll use this side here. Ink it up again. And use this side here. Let me do it the right way around. I'll put that in the frame. All right, I'm just going to clean up my mat a bit. What's happened here? All right, I think this mat has seen better days. All right, so next step, gluing these down. Now for that, I think I'll just use a glue stick. And I've got a scrap bit of paper so that I don't get my mat full of glue. I'm not too fussed with what I stick where, but because this one uses a different stamp, I think I'll put this one in the middle. This one seems to be a bit bigger than the others, but hey oh, not the end of the world. Oop, I've come to the end of my glue stick. These things of course would happen. Well, just let me finish it. Thank you, glue stick. Alrighty. Now, I thought I would decorate them just with words. And I've got this little set, which again I can try and link below, with just lots of different words. So I stamped them on a bit of an old file folder, I think it was. And then I'll just arrange them on here. And the 3 words together: discover beautiful moments. They just happen to be words that were part of this set. My apologies for that little bump. Put this away. Discover. Beautiful, and you can see I had to stamp it on the back first to try it out before I cut it. And then I did it again, as one does. I'm not going to put them at the same level because it makes it more interesting to do it a bit differently. Maybe I'll put this one in the middle. I may at some point add some other elements still to these pockets, but I think actually it would be fine because the journal cards will add enough interest. I'm not going to try and be symmetrical at all in this case. So there we go. That's it for this bit. Now, the next stage is to glue this on here. Yeah, so I'll do that next, and then we'll finish it off. I put a little cross here so that I know which bit I don't need to ink. I could have used a glue stick if my glue stick hadn't run out. And I do have other ones somewhere, but we won't waste time with that. I'll just use this for now. Now, this is the tricky bit where it all needs to be straight. This glue dries really fast. Now, I can see already I've slipped down a bit, so I'll probably have to trim it, but I'm not going to worry about that just now. So now we have these 2 sides to decorate, and again, in the interest of saving time, I've used very similar techniques and just created these 2 panels, which I'll glue on the back. Yeah. So we'll do that quickly. This way here. Just praying I've done it the right way up. Yes, I have. Alrighty. So there we go. this one lives here. This one lives here. This one lives here. And the whole thing can now be fitted into any kind of journal of this size. I've got one, but I won't show you that now because this video is long enough already. So, thank you so much for visiting again. I hope you have enjoyed this little series. And if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe and like and do all the usual things which helps us with our channel. And most importantly, have a wonderful creative day and happy crafting. Thank you.